Hi, my name's Romy, Cassie Baby's here, Mushki Baby's down there, and I am a writer. But it's been too long since I've written something I'm proud about, so let's do it now. Writing is my passion. It is part of who I am. Ink flows in my veins more consistently than blood does. I've participated in NaNoWriMo for at least the last 10 years, and weaving stories is intrinsic to who I am. But the last few novels I've tried to write just peter off. I have ideas and then they feel like I'm trying to write something that's not me, like I'm trying to write something for an end result that I don't really believe in. So they keep stopping. I had the idea for this video that I wanted to write a novel in a month. Maybe I'll revisit that in November for NaNoWriMo. But right now, I'm just writing a novel because I want to and I need to get this story out. It has been knocking on the door of my heart and my soul for quite a while now, insistently telling me, hurry up and start writing. So my only goal with this is to write a minimum of 1,000 words a day and check in every day with where the word count's at. And I guess now we're going into a time lapse that hasn't even happened yet. Ordinarily I would do a voiceover for this sequence, but Cass has got something prepared instead. I kind of forgot that my premise for this whole video of writing a novel was that I would check in every week, I thought. I didn't do that. But I've been writing hard, I've been writing fiercely, and since about the end of week 1 I've been thinking I need to work out a better schedule so I don't sit down in bed at 10 PM and start writing, because it's messing with my sleep. Haven't made the change though. So I'd really like to work on, for this lateral half of the novel, writing before 10 PM, getting it finished before 10 PM, starting before 9, writing the daylight. I am, unfortunately for my sleep schedule, someone who really thrives in quiet nighttime. Everyone else is sleeping and I am awake, tip-tap, tipping, tapping, tippy-tappy-tappy. And I really like writing in the darkness. I really like writing snuggled up in my bed, in my pyjamas. But I'm just so tired. I've got a lot of things going on in my life, in my world. And writing is and is supposed to be something that's really positive for me. I put a lot of pressure on myself with my writing. I struggle to give myself boundaries and not press myself into having every single word perfect every single time when it's the first draft. I know I would have abandoned this novel if I hadn't been doing it as some sort of challenge. The last novel I was writing, the last two novels I think, I walked away from both of them because they just felt like they weren't true to me, or I stopped becoming invested in the story, or 1,000 other things happened and I was just like, you know what, no. Sometimes you write for the wrong reasons and it's good to recognize that. This one I hit a stage where I was like, you know what, I think we need to scrap all this. I think we need to start again. I think we need to change XYZ. And I just keep telling myself, we'll do that in the draft. We'll do that in the rewrite. We'll do that later on. We'll do that in the edit. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be ham-fisted and a little wacky, but if it is telling the story or kind of getting to the heart of the story that you want to tell, and you really like the idea, keep working on it. And if you start to struggle, find ways to reinvent the story, to turn it into something new. Like the bit I'm currently writing doesn't make any sense. There's no logistical way this scene could have happened, and the fantasy elements of my world would allow this scene to have happened, but it's a scene that I have been wanting to write for ages. It was like one of the main things I came up with would be this moment. And it's really hard to write, but it's kind of what I want it to be. This is the update I didn't want to make because I didn't finish writing the novel. I gave it up. I threw it aside. I tossed it into the fire a la Amy March. In fact, I didn't do that. I still have it on my computer, but I didn't listen to my own advice. This advice. Writing before 10 p.m. I kept pushing myself. I kept staying up really too late for my own good and pushing myself to get the 1,000 words out. And you can't even say I tried to get a better routine of writing in the day, so I didn't start at 11 p.m. I didn't prioritize that, and that is my own fault. And I'm much better now! But basically, I worked myself to a really pretty unhealthy spot. I was absolutely exhausted. I was getting kind of stressed out every evening of like, no, I have to finish. I have to write. I can't go to sleep. And then having a little bit of guilt around the days that I didn't get 1,000 words out, even if I was like, okay, you need to sleep. Okay, that's okay. You did 500 words today and that is all right. That is good. You tried. Never harder on anyone than on myself. So it got to a point where I gave myself a night off. And then I gave myself a few more nights off. And then I wrote, and then I just kept giving myself nights off because I decided to prioritize sleeping, and I didn't work back into prioritizing writing in a healthy way. And weeks passed, and months passed, and lots of hectic things happened in my life, and I didn't go back to that novel. And I can't even say that I'm really proud of what I did write. I still at this stage don't know how much I wrote. I spent weeks chronicling, how much I wrote every day, but I haven't checked the big final word count. And I would only be about 15% off finishing the novel, and I did go back to it. I opened the document back up, and I was like, right, let's just finish it. But that's not the writer I am, and that's not the writing I want to do. I want to write the things that make my heart sing and that make me really excited and that I can't stop typing or thinking about. And this project just ended up being something that I kept forcing myself to write every evening. And in theory, I do believe the write something every day, because lots of writers, incredibly famous, clever people have said that that's what you've got to do. But also, I don't think that really works for me. Because if I push myself over an extended amount of time to just keep writing every day and keep hitting all those goals, I end up writing something that I just don't have any passion for. It stops being about writing something that I want to contribute to the world, or that I really believe in, and more, let's get these things on the page because I have to write. And this ended up being a project that the bones I really like of it. I really like the kind of main characterization that I worked on. Did I fail? I failed to write a novel by writing 1,000 words every day, but I didn't fail in understanding my limits, but I also failed myself in pushing those limits until I literally got a type of burnt out. I think it is incredibly important to create, but I think it's even more important to care about what you're creating. And I know that I got to a stage where I just didn't really, it was just doing it because that's the task I had set myself. And writing should not be a task for me, and I've started a new project and I am incredibly passionate about it, and I had the idea brewing over months and months and months, and I have written barely anything, but I'm really happy with it. And I've also started editing one of my other novels, which I wrote in a Camp Nano, and that's going to be a video in itself of what it takes to get a book ready to submit to agents and hopefully get published. And I guess I can give you like a little bit of an idea of what this story was about without giving away like the best plot points, because they were really good. Basically, it's a fantasy novel about a group of adventurers to hire who live in a town of adventurers to hire, but then an adventure goes awry and adventurers start not coming back. And our 4 adventurers, one of whom is a vampire with an incredibly cool backstory that I really am passionate about, and a fairy with memory loss, and a really freaking cool knight who is so tired of princes and other knights being like, oh, let me just save this person for you, babe. She's like, I'm better than all of you. And I can't remember who the other one was, but the other one did have a giant pet spider called Richard, and I liked Richard a lot. So let me just grab my laptop quickly and I'll open up the document and I'll see how many words I did write. This novel is 183 pages long and 57,821 words. So I did write 50,000 words. I nearly did 60,000 words. Let's read a little excerpt. Let's just go boom. She had more muscles than Nicotiana had ever seen, her arms ropes of sinew and strength, her jaw clenched and irresistible, her shoulders broad and absolutely perfect. Nicotiana? I'm sorry, I think she's experiencing something unexpected. Truth is, the vampire mused, swilling the glass before resettling it over the flame, looking at the 2 adventurers for the first time in minutes. I've been wanting to find new work for a while. Stale blood is stale work, so they say, and who says that? I'm feeling more positive. I'm definitely, I've got 2 novels to edit and query this year, and a novel that I'm writing, but maybe I'll open this up after the other novel. Who knows? Me being mean about a character, introducing a character for the first time, my note is ew! So that's where we leave this project. Here's a tally of how many days I wrote. So could I recommend writing every day until you get the novel done? Yes, but not the way that I did it. And that's all I'll say about that.